Relentless heavy rains have triggered a devastating flood in Sichuan province, China. The rising waters overflowed rivers, avenues, and engulfed streets and poured into countless homes. From the outskirts of Chongqing to the deep mountain valleys, the raging torrents invaded every corner of daily life. Bustling neighborhoods have fallen into an eerie silence. Vehicles were abandoned chaotically at muddy intersections. Many shops were flooded, with goods floating adrift inside. Streets lay buried under thick layers of mud and debris, leaving the landscape completely disfigured. Across Sichuan, the scale of destruction is overwhelming. Suburban communities turned into shallow lakes. In rural areas, wooden houses were swept away from their foundations. Even solid concrete structures bore watermarks several meters high, testifying to the flood's destructive force. Transportation infrastructure was among the hardest hit. Highways connecting cities suffered severe damage. Asphalt peeled away, numerous bridges cracked, and countless rural roads were erased entirely. The railway network, vital for transporting people and goods, was also severed by landslides and washed-out tracks. Many trains were stranded for days, delaying shipments and isolating communities dependent on daily supplies. Electricity and telecommunications were not spared. Substations were submerged, plunging districts into darkness. Power lines across mountain slopes collapsed under mudslides. Transmission towers and fiber optic cables snapped, cutting off entire areas from the outside world. Daily life in towns was completely disrupted. Drinking water was contaminated, drainage systems overflowed, and clean water became scarce. Generators were deployed at key facilities, while engineers raced to restore essential services so residents could regain some stability. Agriculture suffered immense losses. Rice and cornfields were buried in mud. Vegetable farms vanished under stagnant waters. Hillside orchards were swept away by landslides, their roots ripped from the soil. A season's worth of farmers' labor was wiped out in an instant. Irrigation systems, designed to regulate water flow, buckled under the massive strain. Canals burst, reservoirs overflowed, and floodwaters tore down embankments, spreading into new areas and reshaping farmland entirely. Markets, warehouses, and factories in low-lying zones were heavily inundated. Machinery rusted, goods were ruined, and supply chains came to a halt. For small businesses, recovery may take months. For larger industries, financial pressure is only beginning to surface. Community services also plunged into crisis. Schools were flooded and forced to close. Medical facilities reported damaged equipment and temporary power outages. Even government offices had to move records and files to higher ground to avoid destruction. The natural environment bore deep scars. Mountainsides lost their vegetation cover, exposing bare rock and raising the risk of further landslides with every rainfall. Rivers once clear now ran murky with mud, debris, and pollutants. Aquatic ecosystems and water quality were severely disrupted on a wide scale. Large-scale recovery efforts are underway. Bulldozers and excavators worked tirelessly to clear main roads. Rescue teams pumped water from submerged neighborhoods. Engineers inspected damaged bridges, measuring and assessing whether reinforcement or reconstruction was possible. The Sichuan flood is considered one of the harshest disasters the province has ever faced. Its impact stretches across transportation, energy, agriculture, housing, and the environment. The road to recovery will be long and arduous, but the rebuilding has begun. Though the waters may recede, the scars left on the land, the cities, and people's lives will remain for years to come. If you found this news report helpful, please like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Turning on notifications will ensure you don't miss clear, calm, and accurate weather updates. Some images in the video are for illustration purposes only and may not fully reflect the events described. Stay tuned and stay safe.
多吓人呐！老天爷，你看看吧。
我操！收了神通吗？
这一哈哈都哈3个来吗？6个来。
Over the past 24 hours, Beijing, the capital of China, has been grappling with a record-breaking deluge that has caused severe flooding, claiming at least 30 lives and forcing more than 80,000 residents to evacuate from high-risk areas. According to city authorities, the heaviest rainfall was recorded in the northern districts of Mentugu and Yangqing, where precipitation reached up to 573.5 millimeters, 22.6 inches, surpassing the city's annual average in just a few days. The torrential rains triggered flash floods, landslides, and extensive infrastructure damage across the region. The town of Miun, located approximately 100 kilometers northeast of central Beijing, was among the hardest-hit areas. Residents reported that floodwaters surged rapidly, submerging streets, homes, and businesses. In some places, water levels rose to as high as 1.5 meters, 4.92 feet, bringing urban life to a standstill. The Miun Reservoir, a key water facility built in 1959, reached its highest water level since its construction. In response, authorities were forced to release water from the reservoir and issued warnings to downstream communities about potential flood risks. The severe weather also caused blackouts in at least 136 villages and left many major roads either damaged or completely submerged, leading to serious disruptions in transportation. Flights and train services were delayed or suspended, straining the city's emergency response systems. To address the crisis, the central government has allocated 550 million yuan, approximately USD 77 million in emergency relief funds, including 200 million yuan earmarked specifically for Beijing's response efforts. President Xi Jinping has called for an all-out search and rescue operation to minimize casualties. He also ordered the closure of schools, suspension of construction work, and cancellation of all outdoor activities until the emergency warnings are lifted. The situation remains critical, with meteorologists forecasting continued heavy rain in the coming days. This disaster once again exposes the vulnerability of urban infrastructure to extreme weather events, emphasizing the urgent need for more effective flood control systems and climate-resilient urban planning. Beijing's drainage infrastructure, designed for average rainfall, has proven incapable of coping with the sudden volume of water. Key facilities such as sewage systems and water treatment plants have also been impacted, further straining the city's emergency resources. Although thousands of rescue workers, including military personnel, have been deployed to assist with evacuations and emergency aid, the sheer scale of the disaster has made it difficult to reach all affected areas. Numerous roads remain blocked, and rescue teams are relying on rubber boats and helicopters to access isolated communities. Authorities fear that the death toll may rise as search efforts continue, especially in remote or severely affected zones. Residents are being advised to stay indoors and avoid non-essential travel as emergency teams work tirelessly to restore order and provide shelter and supplies to those in need. Despite swift response efforts, experts warn that it may take weeks or even months for the region to fully recover from the disaster's impacts.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Natural disasters are not just numbers or fleeting image, but real pains and losses that affect millions of people around the world. We hope that through this content, we can foster more empathy, greater awareness, and encourage all of us to take actions, even in small ways, to protect the environment, reduce risk, and support those who are most severely affected by the natural impact. If you find this message valuable, please don't forget to share this to spread this spirit to solidarity. Once again, our deepest gratitude, and we will see you in the next video.